And welcome everyone to another episode of Straight Talk with Joe Vallon. I am so excited you are here. We are one full day before Election Day, and it is gonna be a nail biter. So As you can see, this lovely lady sitting next to me, Annette, we'll meet her in a second. We do need to get through some formalities first. So let's get to that. As everyone knows, I am your host, your guiding light through the craziness going on in our world today. I am Joe Villano. If you are new to the show, also Senate candidate Joe Villano. And again, if you're going out on Tuesday, make sure you're voting Villano for state Senate. Of course, as I always say, this show always works best when you are all involved. So if you want to call in, 203-679-9610, 203-679-9610. Again, Democrats, if you're all for what's going on in the world today, please call in. We want to hear from you. We have a fellow Democrat over here who I had an awesome conversation with her and the family. We'll get into in a couple minutes. But of course, if you also want to email, you don't want to call in, you can email us, straighttalkjv@gmail.com. We have the email up and running. And of course, if you are on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and all those in between, jump in on the message board. I see you guys are off and running, so I can't wait to read these. And if you have questions, please throw them in there. I got an opportunity yesterday to get into the deep mind of I can't even say a voter, because I don't want to say Democrat. Because again, when we talked about this yesterday with the whole parties things. We don't want to get into too much of that. But of course, I have to do our little disclaimer here. SEC regulations require I do this. Obviously, we've been doing it every week. This show is paid for by the Villano for Senate campaign. Even though we don't spend money or make money on here, we have to say it. And of course, our great treasurer, Josh Borkstra, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. And of course, this message is approved by yours truly because I am the one giving it. So, of course, I approve of my own comments. This lovely young lady sitting next to me, I welcome her to the show, Annette. She is a Meriden resident and a voter, as I said, a registered Democrat here in the city. We won't hold that against her. And as throughout my, of course, long days of door knocking, I came upon the house, and of course, they invited me in. And you know me, I'm not one to shy away from having a great discussion. And how long did our discussion go?
2 hours.
What was that?
2 hours.
Yeah. So I was supposed to be outdoor knocking, and I was. But we ended up spending 2 hours conversating. And it was what? Me, your daughter, your grandson was there, and
Her fiance. Mm-hmm.
her fiance. And we literally had a show of straight talk with real straight talk. I mean, we talked for 2 hours about everything you could possibly imagine. And we touched on tolls. We touched on race in America. We touched on taxes, climate change.
Yes.
Yeah, so we touched on all these great things.
A lot of things.
Which one was your favorite?
I mean, they were all interesting. I mean, the climate change was interesting.
I'm gonna bring that mic. Tell you, bring that mic for a little bit closer. There you go.
Alrighty. Should I move over? Alrighty. Yeah, climate change was interesting, and all of it was interesting. It was all good.
Now,
I can't pick one thing.
Okay, so for me, I always love to get different perspectives, and I think our discussion on race and I think abortion, I think was really something I couldn't grasp being, I guess, a white person. Because I mean, we again, you guys may think that I'm only like this on the show, but listen, when I get in front of somebody and I really have a deep care for knowledge, I try to squeeze as much as I can out of people when I get them in front of me. And listen, I don't live that life, obviously, because I'm white.
Why?
But
for abortion?
Well, remember we talked about abortion when it came to what I remember. So this is how the question.
I didn't know there's no color attached to abortion.
I think with the question, I remember how I phrased it to you guys, and I said I was surprised that abortion isn't something that the African American community is really up in arms about because if we look at percentage wise, in the white community, it's 24%, and the Hispanic community it's like 22%, but then in the black community it was 50%, and that bothered me, and I didn't understand that. I think your daughter really opened my eyes to the train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we started talking about cultures and I guess how we've really from the 70s to now, we've pretty much come together. And I said, that the breakdown of the family, I think.
Yeah, I don't like, that's probably one of my big pet peeves is that whole thing with the breakdown of the family.
We're seeing it. And we said that, if you look at statistics, the white family is heading in that direction too, where the absentee of fatherhood, having a father in the house, from the
norm. It's like the norm.
Yeah, because the government has decided that they could take ownership of it. Mm-hmm. And while you're seeing, again, back in 70s when it was 80-20 in the black community, where it was total opposite in the white community, now you're starting to see in the African American community start going back up, and you're watching the white is starting to erode. And again, where you're starting to see other numbers start to increase, crime, social services, and stuff like that.
We talked about education as well.
Yeah, we talked about it. Listen, when I literally said we talked 2 hours nonstop.
We went through it. We went through it all.
It was literally one of the greatest conversations. It was the best 2 hours of eye-opening stuff. And again, I hope that I was able to give value to you guys.
You did. I mean, and I wanted to be open and transparent as well. A lot of times, the African American community, in some ways, we speak amongst ourselves. But sometimes I think we need to have dialogue and conversation with someone who thinks differently, and just open up the discussion and just see where it goes. And we talked about that.
Yeah. Because listen, I'm all for it again, and I think we said it that we can't be afraid to offend each other,
right?
Because it's not like we're meaning to offend each other if we do, but at least like for me and the abortion thing, I think was clearly an eye opener for me, because I could never obviously grasp what your daughter was telling me.
I mean, I can't. I mean, for me, it's all about choice, having the choice. And I don't think someone should take that away from someone else. I am not familiar with it. I've never experienced it. I don't know, I don't know firsthand. But as a woman, I would not want someone to take that away from me. Let me decide what I want to do.
Right. And I think this is where, we kind of disagree. Like, again, I think we agreed in a little bit. Again, late-term abortions, I'm against. Unless it's medically necessary for saving the mother's life, I just can't get behind that. And like I said, 80% of the people I think are with me on that. The statistics show that 80% of the people are with me on that. But your daughter works in healthcare, in the healthcare field. So, I mean, she deals with it, not every day, but I mean, she's seen it, which is why her perspective of it kind of really just took me back. And I appreciate what she was telling me about. I think climate change we disagreed on.
We did, because I think when we spoke about it, you talked about money being poured into trying to fix the situation, and I was trying to convey that there's other ways we can do it to attack the climate change.
Yeah, I prefaced it with, obviously we should take care of the planet we're on, but also, again, statistically, if we looked at ice cores in Antarctica and the North Pole, our temperatures have always been changing for billions of years, and to think that the humans are somehow going to destroy Mother Earth and destroy the atmosphere, I don't think is possible.
I don't think we are meaning to do it purposely. I don't think we're doing it on purpose. We're out going, we're going to just destroy the earth. I think it's our way of life that's changing so much that's causing us to destroy it.
Right. And I think I also came back with that one volcano eruption could literally do more damage than 1,000 years of human existence. And
that's uncontrollable. But I think what my concern was attacking it from the side, from the things that we can control, opposed to, a volcano. Like, I have no control over that.
Well, I think we're in agreement that, again, we should do what we can to protect our environment while we're here, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. But again, go back to the 1930s, 40s, 50s when we were really polluted. You can go ahead and move it. Mm-hmm. We're not dispensing that much CO2s or pollutants into the air as we were back then.
I'm not going to act like the expert on that. But, you have to admit we are driving more. Way back when it was only, maybe a car per household. Now it's like 5 cars on average. I could be wrong about the number. Don't quote me. On average, there's more cars. And I think that we could do a little better with that and being so dependent on the need for gas. I really think that there's other options out there we need to start exploring. And we've been having this conversation and talking about it, but what have we been doing about it? What have the companies been doing about it? For me, when I think about it, I need to get a new car, okay? Mm. The next car that I get, I might want to think hybrid. A little gas, a little...
Hybrids are nice.
You know what I'm saying? A little of both, but I don't want to I don't want to depend so much on the gasoline, because when the price goes up, it's just too much.
I gotta say, when I worked for AT&T and I used to travel a lot. When the day that I got from Danbury to Cleveland in one tank of gas on my hybrid in my little Ford C-Max, I was sold on the whole hybrid thing. I was like, 'cause I hate stopping for gas, and I again, it was a comfortable ride. It was small. It was a quick car, and listen, I got there in one tank of gas. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I just feel like we're just not getting ready to let go of the purse strings of needing gas as much as we do right now, and I think we need to start getting ready for that. And I think that's why we keep having all these clashes and money needing to be spent, because we're holding on to other purse strings to keep our interest there so we can have it. So,
if we're going to have I guess that might be more of a conversation for our subsidies, I guess, is what the government's given to these companies. And I could agree with you on that. First of all, I don't think the government should be giving any corporation money. That's just...
But you know why they're doing it.
Of course I know why they're doing it. And, of course, okay, so this is also, let me just kind of reference this. This is her first time not only hearing this show, but not only being on the show, this is her first time actually hearing it. She's never watched the show before. She never even knew it existed. So this is a double for me. So I'm super excited about that also. And this is her first opportunity to see maybe the other side, because you may not have heard this side. And I think the conversation we had yesterday, just from the conversation, I don't think you've ever heard the conservative side of some of these discussions.
I'm going to be honest with you. The labels, I'm not into all the labels. For me, it's all about reality for me.
I love that.
I'm just saying, like, left, right, conservative, to the far right, and none of that means anything to me. I'm just an average person who works every day, have to pay bills. There's certain pain points for me. Like, the titles I don't really care for. And I feel that we should be able to talk and have conversation across the party lines about the issues that the people are concerned with. The people. It's about the people.
Who does she sound like? I wonder.
I don't know. Who do I sound
like? I wonder.
See,
I think if you watch this show a couple times, you'd be like, oh my God, I sound like Joe.
I sound like you? Oh my gosh. Do I?
You do. Listen, I'm all about doing it for the people. Again, if I had my way, I would literally, every campaign, every election cycle, we would not have R's and D's after our name. It would just be a list of people, and and just vote for what the person is saying. Because I think I was telling you yesterday, I had a conversation with this gentleman from Cheshire, and he was reading one of the letters I sent him, and he gave me a call, not because of anything in the letter, but because I didn't say I was a Republican, Democrat, or Independent. So, and I do that on purpose. I don't ever put what I am in my letters because it's not about that. Because I think when you have a D or an R next to your name, it immediately puts you in your corner.
Exactly.
And so he called me, and I finally called him back. I was like, how are you? He goes, well, I agree with everything in your letter, but you didn't put whether you're an R or a D. I was like, well, does it matter? And to him, it did. He said, well, if it's an R, I can't vote for you because I can't vote for a Republican. And I was like, well, you disagreed with everything that was in my letter, but you can't vote for me because I'm a Republican. I think this is why things just don't get accomplished.
And I agree with you on that. I was thinking of like when in the House, when they have to vote on things, it's like you have to be one or the other, right? It should be about the issue. We should really take a hard look at the issue. And the people that we're voting for, we need to make certain that they're really being representing us. And don't say it. Let's don't talk about it. Be about it.
Yeah, and I find that's the hardest thing in politics. We literally talk about this all the time. And I always say, listen, I'm running against someone who has no experience in anything happening in the city or in the district. But she has the most powerful thing that you could have, and that's the D after her name. Because most people will go back to their corners and say, do you know what? I don't even want to have a discussion with you because you're a Republican. And I find that, and again, and this isn't just one-sided. Republicans are the same way.
Right.
Your far right will turn around and say, I'm not even talking to a Democrat. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so toxic for democracy. I think it's so toxic for our environment and our community because if we're not willing to just have these conversations, how is anything ever going to get fixed or not? And they're just going to keep dividing us based on whatever, subject they feel or any class that they feel that they could separate us on.
And that's why everyone's in a big uproar. And, I don't want to see it come down to a civil situation in the country. I just don't want it. It should not come down to that. It should be about the people. We should know what the people really want, what the people need, and we need to work together to find solutions and go in that direction. When you say Republican to the average African American person, they think it's for the rich. I do too.
Even though there's a lot more rich Democrats lately than there are Republicans.
I haven't taken note, but I'm just saying that's what they think. So that you are for the rich.
How do we get this kind of message, our kind of thinking, to everybody?
We have to be open. We have to have dialogue, right? We have to respect one another's feelings. We have to be able to, how you say, agree to disagree. We can agree on some things, and there's some things we may not agree on. But at the same time, there's so much that has been lost, and we can have conversation all day long. But the thing is, we need to start taking action, real action. Like one of my examples, one of the things, education for me is like a big thing for me. We talk about school readiness, right? We've used slogans, you name it. School readiness, every kid counts.
No child left behind.
No child left behind. But the fact of the matter, you don't stand by that. It doesn't really, it's just a slogan to me, okay? School readiness to me means we are preparing our children so that when they're finished with school, they can go out in society, get a job, start a business, and be able to do the things that the average person would do. School readiness today, look at what's going on. We have a lot of immigration issues, right? Mm-hmm. We have a lot of our demographics are changing. I want my grandchildren to know how to conversate and have conversation across parties with other people, no matter what color they are, where they're from. But how can they if we can't even speak the same language? And that starts with English and or speaking another language. We had a conversation.
We talked about it yesterday how you want a second language to be taught at an earlier age.
Yes.
And I think what we talked about, especially here in the city of Maryland, we have a lot of students that are coming from other countries that just don't even know how to speak English at that age, and we're spending all of our money on ESL, English as a second language.
We're not teaching our own students to speak another, like say French or let's say Spanish or whatever the popular languages are today. I mean, we're not preparing them. I think it's so simple. And children in kindergarten, they're the most moldable and impressionable.
Which is why we talked about yesterday, instead of teaching second language, they want to teach sex education in elementary school, which blows my mind. It's like, okay, I can see a second language, but sex education in elementary school, I think, is an absolutely ridiculous idea.
And that should be up to the parents if they want such a thing. So, and here again, it's like you're taking the rights is not being considered. The parents' rights, how parents feel about certain things. Me as a parent, and I hope in this discussion I don't come across to offend anyone because that's not my intent. I'm just saying it the best way that I know how to say it. I just don't think that that's an appropriate thing we need to be concerned with right now.
You know what? I have no problem with sex education being taught in schools, which is fine. We all learned it in middle school.
Right.
It shouldn't be in elementary school.
School,
that's what kills me. And I think that's what most parents are really frustrated. But you know what we didn't talk about yesterday?
What?
School choice. Charter schools, magnet schools, private schools.
No, we did not talk
so
about that.
So the money following the child. What do you think?
See, but why is it always the money?
Someone's got to pay for it.
I mean, someone's got to pay for it.
If your son's smart enough, your daughter, smart woman, if she was able to go to a private school, but you couldn't afford it, but if the money followed her, she'd be able to go. And I think that's a plus, especially in the African American community, where we always hear that the inner city schools are so bad, or so this or that. Wouldn't that be one of the greatest things for the money to follow the child, and we'd be able to send these kids could go to a Cheshire school, they go to a Southington school, or they go to a private school.
I mean, it sounds good in a way. However, but what would start to happen? I see separation. I start to see we're not together. What will happen is a lot of African American students will be over here, a lot of Latina students over here. I just feel like there'll be more division. I think we just need to find a way to figure that whole thing out. But people should have a choice. Yeah.
So I'm all for a choice because I like the fact that then things will become more merit-based and there will be more competition. Listen, the teachers unions are structured that, they always want everything public school because then they have the power and they have the control, and you don't have to worry about merit-based. When you have competition in these other districts, I mean, look at the city of Meriden now. The city of Meriden, they actually have billboards out to entice kids to come to public school instead of going to a private school or a magnet school. I think if we had more competition, you'd see the the education systems become a little bit more well-rounded. It'd be a little bit more merit-based.
Okay, for me, with I understand the whole dollars. I get it. But for me, I'd want to see the curriculum have some inclusive stuff in there for everyone in the curriculum. I mean, we talk about schools and which schools to go to, but when you get there, what are you going to learn? What are they going to teach you? Are we going to still learn this same stuff? Things have changed. I don't know if anybody noticed, but things have changed. And we have to change with it. And we have to learn how to not live in the past, but learn from the past and go forward. Yes, history is a very important part of our American, how do you say it? It's like it's very important. History is real important.
Listen, we have to learn our history so we don't repeat it.
So we don't repeat it.
Yes.
However, the curriculum needs to be of such that we can respect everyone. And it's so one-sided. It's so one-sided. I shouldn't have to ask for Black History Month. Black history is all embedded in America.
I said that. I remember we talked about it yesterday. I was like, Black history is American history.
Absolutely.
And, again, we could all obviously talk about the wrongs of the past.
But it's not even talking about just the wrongs. It's just about the inclusiveness. It's not embedded enough. It's like, Well,
I always feared that, where we were with Martin Luther King, I believe our government and I think certain people and certain organizations are trying to tear us back apart. And I fear that is happening.
Well, it's funny you said that. But a lot of people, okay, I'm trying to craft my words.
Oh, no, come on. You can just spit it out there.
Don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
Okay.
Now, we've had a president for 2 terms, okay?
Yeah.
2 terms. African-American president.
Yeah.
People will love him dearly.
We're talking about Barack. I'm taking it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Barack. Yes.
Okay.
I do not recall during his presidency, I do not remember at all the division that we're going through or that we went through when Trump was in office. I just don't.
We did.
No.
We did, and maybe it was a little different. It wasn't.
Maybe it was.
It wasn't as.
You didn't. I don't.
Well, let me rephrase that. The media didn't put it out there as much, but there were plenty of things that Obama did that were trying to separate us. Again, and I think there's a lot of things that Trump doesn't. And I'm taking it. Trump is who you were talking about when you were talking about what it is today. There's a lot of stuff that Trump was doing that was great for the African American community. Lowest unemployment in all time.
Okay, but wait, those were all for whose numbers? Actual numbers.
Are you trying to tell me that those were Barack Obama's numbers? Barack Obama, when he left office, we had a GP.
No.
What do we?
No.
Oh yeah.
It happened on his watch. However, when everything was put into place, by the time it was all instituted, the fruits of the labor started trickling over when he came into
Here comes my dear friend's Democrat side.
Yes, here it comes. I'm just saying, it's the truth because things don't happen in real time.
No, but if you look at all the money that was spent and all the things that he was trying to do, it was killing our economy, which is why it only grew at 1.2%. And do you remember what Barack Obama said about the 1.2% GDP growth? Well, that's the new normal. That's not the new normal. Now, again, coming from an economics background.
But why do you think it's
3% is basic?
Think it's like that? But why do you think?
Why? Because it's policies. And when it came to energy, you look at what prices were back then during his term. It was up over $4 or $5. Remember what he said about that?
No, I don't remember.
He didn't mind that. He just wished it didn't go up so fast. Because and again, that's not just him. That's just not on him. That's just liberal policy altogether. They hate fossil fuels. They do. So they don't mind seeing these high gas prices, oil prices. That's all part of their game because they can't tell you to go buy an electric car or a hybrid car if gas prices are down at $1 something. Because it doesn't make sense.
What can we do to listen to the people more and understand what it is, what our needs are? Because I feel like sometimes when politicians speak, they speak at a really, really high level. I need them to come down a little. How low can you go?
Yeah.
How low? Bring it down a little.
The closer you get to the people, the better government it is, which is why, again, I'm all for state rights. And I think everything should be at a state level. That's why I don't believe we should have a Department of Education on a federal level. I just think it's ridiculous.
But you know what? The only reason why it's at that point is because it's like we have to force people to do certain things when it should be a norm. Things should be just a regular way of life.
But don't you think that's like the culture of today? They just don't want to be bothered to do anything. It's the less I could do, the better. And most of the people just don't care, which is why they go and just.
You think people don't care?
I don't, because I mean, look at voting. Voting on a high year is 30%.
Because people feel like, why should I even go out there probably to vote? And you're not going to even listen to any of my needs or anything. It's not. I'm not getting nothing. So that's what they would say probably. I'm not saying.
Right. So your question really was, you want to deal with a symptom, and I like to deal with the root cause of things. What is the root cause of it? It's just a distrust in the system, I believe, is that the system is so corrupt down in Washington, which, and again, this is your first time probably hearing it because I say it a lot on the show. I don't trust anyone down in Washington. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat. There's just way too much money, way too much corruption down there. And
to me, it seems like what you can get, what I can get, you can give me. And
that's what it is.
You know.
That's what it is. That's why I'm all for term limits.
But how are we gonna? You know what? That's a good topic. I have a conversation today with some friends. I'm gonna say. And why is it that our presidency, they can only hold 2 terms, right? Mm-hmm. Total of what, 8 years?
Yep.
Why the other offices is like forever? It's like till the dinosaurs. Come back. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Well, George Washington was the one that came up with the 2 terms. Well, he was the original one, which is why he said he didn't want it. It didn't get put into the Constitution for after that, but he was the leader of it because they wanted him to be king. And he's like, well, no, that's just going to destroy everything we just built. They always thought that being a congressman or being a senator was going to be a part-time thing you were going to come do for a couple months and you head back home like it used to be. Well, now it's become a career.
A career?
Now it's become a career for people. And again, and when they leave, who takes over? Family members take over. It's like a dynasty now. You know, how many Kennedys have been through the halls of Washington now?
But this is what I'm saying. How can we make change if we still have the same people in power doing the same things? You can't.
It starts with us. It starts with our conversation.
We have to change that. So I think we need to change it and make it so that there are term limits.
I think, well, first of all, politicians aren't going to sit there and kick themselves out. There's way too much money for them to be made. Like I said, again, I talk on this.
But that's the whole point.
So
if you don't have enough time to do all of that.
So I think what it comes down to again, it starts on a very local level. It starts on a very ground roots level. And I think it starts with the conversation me and you had yesterday that now me and you are having with hundreds of other people right now. So it's like, so this is where it all starts. But again, if we keep voting the same people in that aren't having the same values that we're talking about, how is it ever going to change? But again,
it's not going to change, right?
How are we going? And we talk about our circle of, I talked about yesterday, our circle of influence. You know, what are we doing within our circle of influence to make sure that people are informed about what's going on and the people that are going to represent us? And again, I am hugely in favor of term limits because I believe it'll end a lot of corruption and
it would
getting lobbying out of Washington.
I'm not going to speak about the whole lobbying thing, but term limits, I agree with you on that. We need to have limits.
I agree. I think again, to me, it's just common sense.
I mean, that's what we're saying. We're trying to speak like we're having some sense. So why don't we act like it?
Again, can we get enough people to rally behind that call? And again,
about term limits.
About term limits.
I think so. Term limits, not only in just only politics, but in a lot of different things. Even like if you look at some police departments, and you look at crime. I think sometimes when people are in certain jobs for certain periods of time they get comfortable and complacent.
Yep.
You mix it up a little bit and say, hey, you can't work here. I mean, you can't be in this region for this period of time. We need to shift you. Now we need to shift you somewhere else. I think if we moved people around a little bit more, not only do you get to know the people, it's less corruption.
Yeah, I would hope that, and we're talking about like police departments. I happen to love our chief that we have now. I wasn't a fan of our chief before. Okay. And we talked about it yesterday about the corruption within the police department, whether it was, the tickets in the draws and it was happened to be run by the chief's brother or didn't sing with his son. All these things is why I don't believe that kind of stuff should be happening in police departments. But I also I don't put it on the police department. I put it on City Hall because they hire and fire our police chief. And
who's basically mining the store? As I like to look at things like that. Who's watching?
Well, you would be hoping that our public safety committee of our city council was, but they weren't. And you look at our city council now, it's a joke. You look at the public safety committee, they don't even meet half the time. So again, but who's holding them responsible? They still get voted in every 4 years. So it's just mind-boggling.
It all comes back to the people. We have to get the people involved more often. And we have to have more conversation. And some of the conversation we have is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be so uncomfortable. You might want to get in my face, but don't do that.
Right.
It will get a little uncomfortable. But we need to have it so that maybe you can understand how I feel, or maybe I need to understand how you feel. And then we find a happy medium.
We find that common ground.
I don't know. I think that's where it needs to start.
And again, I think we started that yesterday, which is why you're here today.
Oh, gosh.
Because, again, you can't be afraid of the conversation. Again, that's why nothing gets fixed. Because what happens? The media attacks you. Certain groups will attack. NAACP hates me because I'm not afraid to sit there and call out the BS that I see. And we talked about it yesterday with this whole diversity and inclusion.
What is it you don't like about the... But see, this is the thing. We wouldn't need to probably have half of these things if people could come together and have the right conversations. Just like, we wouldn't need to have any type of law that say you have to hire this person or this type of person. If we would just be respectful. A lot of people are still, believe it or not, there's a lot of racism still going on.
Racism is always going to exist on all sides. It's always going to exist.
Exactly.
But it's not as rampant as people are trying to portray it. Again, and I go back to what you said before under Barack Obama, whether it was the Harvard police where he called them stupid because they were doing their job. And that I think affects people, whether it was their little beer summit there. There's a lot of things that Barack Obama did and said that me as a white person, I sat there and go, what the hell are you talking about? And even today, like our city council, the majority leader of our city council, she's an African-American woman who brings race into everything. Everything is systemic racism. Everything is this, everything is that. It's like, no.
But do you not believe that there is some...
I would say this, if there's systemic racism in this city or in this state, it's only one party's fault. Because they could change it.
I mean, you're talking about in here in just our state here, right?
Well, yeah. I'm
just thinking, I'm thinking a little bigger than that. You know what I'm saying?
Like what in particular would you consider to be systemic racism or racism in general?
Like no one's around. What is racism?
Because I could state a couple of things that I believe are racist now. Affirmative action, I don't think we need anymore. Affirmative action. We talked about generational wealth yesterday, and I believe back in the 60s, 70s, absolutely affirmative action was needed because exactly what we talked about. There was no generational wealth,
right.
And they didn't have the same opportunities as white people.
Right.
Totally get it.
So you're
totally hold
saying
back.
now,
I
you
think
don't think
now
that's needed.
we're above that. And then I talked about also about my business because we were talking about fuel. And what I say yesterday, I was like, well, I was going for an SBA loan, and because I didn't have a woman or a minority as a part owner of my business, there's nothing they could do for me. But if I had a minority or a woman on my board or part owner of my business, they could offer me all sorts of different loans.
But you think about it like this too. For how many years have you been privileged? Think about it in that sense. And this might be just the first year you probably could not have applied for SBA, where for many, many years, African Americans have not been able to get any of those same privileges that
So basically you're saying that because my ancestors did bad things or whatever, I should be punished for it today?
No. That's not what I'm saying.
But then why would I be denied compared to everybody else?
But you want to stop affirmative action now because now it's affecting you.
No, affirmative action is not affecting me now. I mean, the way that the SBA system is set up right now, I think by time now, we are generations in through the school system. Again, we don't have segregated school systems anymore, which is one of the main reasons why affirmative action was put in there. Affirmative action really was put in there, one, for colleges, not for business opportunities. Like, they kind of taken it to the extreme on that side. But it was originally set for schools so that, if you got it, if you got a curve on your SATs, you got into the school before a white person, maybe a higher score. Again, I could get all that. I could understand that.
But that was because there was one group of people that was not getting
the education,
same education that the privilege was
again,
getting.
Which I could totally get on board with, and which is why I was all for affirmative action. And I just think that right now, I really don't see how that is a difference, other than some school systems are underperforming compared to others. And I don't think that has anything based on race. It's more based on the school district itself and maybe the leadership of it.
That would have to do with the teachers that's being hired, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we need to be a little more inclusive. Like, we're saying we want to be. Mm-hmm. Let's be inclusive.
But how do we do that without it being, again, and we talked about this yesterday. We talked about how they want to hire and fire teachers based on race. And as I said, I was like, that is the most racist thing I've ever heard. I mean, to me, that is just
laugh.
It's okay.
Offend anyone. I'm just saying.
Listen, don't worry about offending anybody. I mean, listen, if there are plenty of people probably here that are offended by half the things I say sometimes, but I don't care because I can't worry about that. I can't worry about being offensive if I'm trying to actually have a conversation to actually come to a solution of it. I just don't see, again, how hiring and firing teachers based on race is any way of a good idea.
But you have to understand too, it is helpful to have, whether it's in the educational system and or the police department, to have people who represent you or understand your culture and don't get all nervous about everything. I don't want you to get nervous because you see me wearing a particular thing or my hair is not as straight as you want it to be, and we can go on and on and on. But these are the type of conversations we need to have. You need to understand why we're saying you have to have some African American teachers, some Latina teachers. It's because of that. Because people do look at, perception is everything.
I mean, I'm all for, again, a diverse educational system. All for it. I just think when we make that the priority, rather than educating our kids, I think we're heading down a very slippery slope.
I don't think it should be like a priority. I think we need to do both simultaneously. We need to attack it from both ends so we can meet in the middle, so to speak. That's the only way you could do it. You have to do it. There's no way around it. I feel like we're getting like Nike. You got to just do it. I mean, seriously, you got to just do it. Like, we got to, at the same time, make sure we have a mixture of teachers that represent the community. And at the same time, we need to update our curriculum that's not from way back there.
I just want to let everyone know, this is why I go to Democrat doors. Now, again, I've run for office before, and I've gone door knocking with other people before. And I am one of those people that if I see like a Democrat sign or I know they're Democrats, I go and knock on their door.
How do you know they're Democrat?
Because my voting record says they are. I have an app that will actually tell me what.
I'm just, okay.
So, but again, when I see it, because again, people go, "Oh, you're just wasting your time." No, you're not. Because I honestly want to understand the mind of a Democrat. Because I believe that we are all the same. We agree on 90% of everything. But there are that 10% that we need to have the conversation about.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But it's starting now.
I love these.
We're setting a trend here.
I hope so, and I hope more and more people take the opportunity to do what we're doing. Because again, I 2 hours flew yesterday. I could have sat there for probably another 2 hours.
Sure
I think we were almost ready to have dinner almost by the time we were done. But I mean, your family is just amazing. I love your family.
Well, thank you.
They were terrific.
And we think you're amazing as well. I mean, you sat there, and we had open conversation. We had a great old time. It was like
it was an absolutely terrific conversation. I absolutely loved every moment of it. So, the Joe and Annette show.
What are the people saying? I know you have all this fancy equipment going on.
They love it. They love it.
What are people saying? What questions they might have? Like,
what questions do you guys have? Throw your questions out there, and I can go back and start scrolling through here and say, yes, lobbyists. Again, money is the root of all evil, unfortunately. Let's see. Well, she already doesn't agree on the gas.
Is there somebody we can get them on the line and maybe have them in for a second or two and just listen to them speak?
Listen to who?
Anybody on the line?
I know Zabrowski's always good for a good phone call. Zabrowski might be on there. Somebody might
call us and just say something.
That's it. You guys ask the question. Someone call in. You guys could ask the question. Let me throw the number up there. So 203-679-9610. You're on the Joe and Annette show today.
I love it.
I might have to have her on a lot more. Whenever I need the Democrat point of view, I'm going to go right to her.
I'm not this. Me.
People get a little nervous calling in, but we have a couple of that.
We're not asking for names. We're just asking them to talk about what's on your mind. What are you feeling? What are your pressure points? And
guys, we have a Democrat here. Well, how does she feel about the tax system? Do you feel a millionaire should be taxed more?
Tax more? Okay, let's talk about taxes now.
I'm all ears.
I'm not up for more money being taken out of my paycheck. I'm sorry.
How do you pay for social programs?
Why do we need so many?
You just made everybody so happy on here.
No, I'm just asking, why do we need so many?
I don't believe you do.
Why?
In fact, we talked about it yesterday. If you would take every single social program you get in the state of Connecticut, you'd be making over $72,000. Why work?
I don't know about the dollar signs. So, I don't,
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to sit down and.
But why work? And again, we talked about it yesterday. And we went from generational wealth to generational welfare. It just kind of goes down. Oh, here's Mr. Zabrowski. All right. Dan, are you there, sir? Dan? Oh, hold on, Dan.
You lost him?
No, I got him still. I have to put him on my... hold on, Dan. I'm going to put you on my... so everybody can hear you here.
Okay.
I don't know why my phone disconnected from... There you are, Dan. You there?
Still here.
There you go. Can you hear us?
okay, growing up in marriage and knowing, a project I lived in up in Piedmont Highway, um, what is her feelings as far as this critical race theory in the schools to push towards our newer generation?
So, are you familiar with critical race theory?
No.
Okay, so she's not too familiar with it.
But tell me what's
Okay, you can fill her in, Dan.
I'm sorry, what you say?
So she's not familiar with critical race theory. Her children are a little older than the school system.
Oh, okay. I just curious to see how she felt.
Well, she wants you to break it down for her.
Yeah,
What specifically?
Yeah.
Are you talking more towards teaching kids about white supremacy and stuff like that, and basically all white people are supremacists?
Yeah, within that scope, possibly. With what's going on right now, especially
So basically, critical race theory is basically that you are all victims of the white man, and that your whole entire history is basically that you guys have been oppressed your entire lives. So therefore, everything should be taught that the white man is bad. And that's, I think, what most people have affected with it.
No, I don't think we should come across and say someone is bad.
Like Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus, they absolutely despise now in critical race theory because Christopher Columbus, again,
I just think we need to be honest about what has truly happened.
Right.
That's my point. And if it comes across that way, hey, that's like rolling dice. Wherever it lands, that's where it lands.
So,
I mean, I can't say one way or another, and it's not to incite any kind of hate toward any one group, or anything, but it's just making people aware what truly has happened. I mean, just let me give you an example. I think I had told you, I had this gentleman, he said to me, well, what have African Americans contributed to America? I was blown away.
Which is absolutely ridiculous question.
I was blown away. I was like, are you serious? And he could not have been more serious.
Yeah.
Could not have. What have you guys ever done? Wow.
So let me ask you this question, because this critical race theory really came about maybe like 5 years ago. It really started making traction. And it all started with, again, the statues. Do you feel like all the statues of Confederates down in the South, or Christopher Columbus here in New Haven, and they wanted to get rid of Christopher Columbus here in City Hall, do you feel that, again, I am a firm believer and we have to learn from our history. Again, and Christopher Columbus did do some great things for America, but again, he wasn't the nicest guy, but who was back then? And I think Bill Maher says it the best, like, get off your high horse of today because you would have done the same thing back then. Times were different, and times are different now. But to try to go back, and critical race theory basically wants to erase history.
Statues and things.
So
like
that's
that.
why when all the statues were coming down, were you a fan of that? Or
I think for me, and I can only speak for me. I'm not speaking for the whole African American community. I can only speak for me. I don't care about your statues, me personally.
Right.
I really don't care, as long as it don't offend me and don't offend me. But there was like one thing that you could say that's tangible that did offend me was the flag, right?
What do you mean?
Like before, there was times when people used to like just hang up certain types of flags. I'm not going to name any one particular, but certain things like that make me feel like you are speaking to me in a negative way.
So like different flags of representation of certain groups?
In a sense.
Is that what we're talking about?
In a sense.
Like whether it was the Tread on Me flag, whether it was the Pride flag. So it's different flags. You just don't.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about all of that stuff because it seems like you're trying to make a statement. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like just respect me, and I'll respect you. That's my thing. I don't feel like I need to tote anything around.
Right.
Like.
So, Dan, any other questions?
No, I mean, she kind of answered it quite well. And again, it's just basically something that, I never saw growing up as a kid to, disparity as far as blacks, whites, or brown or whatever. And it's just something that, I feel that it's not advantageous, again, in regards to, like West Harvard has now changed Columbus Day to an indigenous holiday. I mean, why do we need this? And I do applaud the fact that she's not, against tearing statues down and everything. It's just something, it's history. It'll repeat itself year after year after year. And again, I appreciate her comment. Thank you.
Now, if you go to city council meetings, Dan is a staple there. He's always there. Dan, thanks for calling, buddy. So I do have a question for you, because this is something that and again, because we can have these conversations. The one thing that always bothered me is, again, I don't like the separation of things, and I think we all are all Americans. Can you please explain to me, as an African American person, the Black National Anthem?
It's the Black National Anthem.
Let me be more specific.
Actually, in school.
Let me actually narrow down my question.
Bring it down. Go ahead.
Is the meaning of it just as a anthem for your community, or are you trying to push that it is because every time I hear the Black National Anthem, and then they say, well, here's your national anthem. And that, I guess, is what bothers me the most, because the national anthem, the American national anthem, is everybody's.
Supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. So why do we hear the Black National Anthem and then the national anthem, or vice versa, or an African American will say, "There's that's your national anthem. That's not ours." Is the Black National Anthem meant to be just a rally of your community, or is it really supposed to be, well, this is what we really care about America?
I don't. Like I said, I can only speak for myself.
Yeah, well, that's.
When I sang it, and when I do sing it, I have a sense of pride for my people, for African Americans. It's a sense of pride, and it makes me feel good because no one else is saying it for me, because this country doesn't say it to us.
Say what?
That they're proud of us, that they include us. Like, because of all the divisions and things like that, if we were talking about race and stuff like that. It's just that it's a sense of pride for me.
Do you guys feel isolated still?
I don't even know if that's the word for it. Isolated. I still feel the injustices. There's still a lot of injustice. And everybody want to act like it's not happening. And it's not there. And I love my family just like you love your family. And how can you not think that I would not be hurt by something that someone else would do to a family member of mine? Like as if my feelings don't count. That's what I don't like.
See, I hate the fact that some people feel like we are not united, and that we don't share in your pain and things like that.
That's how a lot of people feel, that you don't understand our pain and our struggle because you've had a lot of privilege, right?
Well, our predecessors had a lot of privilege.
Well,
and again,
I'm not saying
right. No, which is, to my point, is that while you feel that way, I feel that way now. As when it comes to the African American community, has absolutely no idea what it's like to be a white male in today's society. You might have felt it back then, and you feel it now still today. But if you look at what's going on now, they're basically trying to cancel people like me out. And I have issues with that. So
you feel like you're being canceled out.
Yes.
We're still having the same struggle of being canceled out.
Well, again, but see, they're bending over backwards to make sure that you don't feel that way.
What it is what it is, and I can't say it's the right way to go about it.
Yeah.
To try to get one party or a person understand how the other person feels. It's just that we need to not do it. Don't do it. Certain things, don't do it. I don't care what color you are, no matter what. Why is it certain people can do certain things and get away with it?
Well, that goes into a lot of things in America. Do you have money? Do you not have money? Do you have connections? Do you not have connections? But I think for the basic, for the normal individual, I do feel like there are some things that, again, I think they're trying to create this divide between us, because it really doesn't make any other sense on why they would be doing it. And
I don't think it's being done on purpose. I think we have basically set ourselves up for this. I don't think, like I said, like with the climate, I don't think no one woke up this morning and said, you know what, I'm going to make it so that a glacier is going to fall off. I think we are not aware that the things that we do every single day, our way of life, is impacting everything. It's called our way of life, is impacting everything. And I don't want to get into this one subject that probably is a little hairy, but our way of life is just that it's impacting a lot of different things, and we're not being respectful of certain things, and everyone's just doing whatever they want to do. You got to fit in one box or another. It's like, come on, you can't. It's just like, no, we got to open up a little more. We got to open up more. We got to have these painful conversations. And I'm not as versed. I'm just a normal person at work every day who's trying to raise her family and try to get them to do the best that they can possibly be.
Well, you did a good job.
But a lot of people are trying to do that, but we're not being heard. We're not being heard, and I don't mean just African Americans. I mean the average. Listen,
the average person. I mean, if you hear the beginning of our opening song, it's exactly about that. And then when we started this show, again, we weren't being heard, and people weren't being heard, and we all came here together under one banner and said, you know what, we're going to be heard, and we got some things accomplished in the city. And hopefully we'll get some things accomplished in the state. Hopefully, come Wednesday, we'll have a bigger crowd, because we'll have an agenda to go to Hartford and get some things done. And we'll be able to have even more great conversations.
I hope so. I really do. I just want to see the change take place for the better. I really do, because, and not to discredit any of our older generation, because they have been through so much too, right?
Yeah.
They have gone through a lot of different things that I didn't even go through, or that you didn't go through. We have to be mindful and respectful of that as well. But we have a lot of young people today, and I don't know what their voice is or their stance on anything, because I don't hear from them.
Yeah.
I don't think we give them an opportunity to say what it is they like or what they want. It's just like they're just being told.
I think we're going to have to change that and give them the opportunity. But again, it comes down to it, are the people that are our representatives, are they really representing us, or are they representing their special interests? And that's what it comes down to.
Right.
So, and that's why we need to find people that will represent us and will be willing to have these conversations.
I guess I have a question for you. Would you feel comfortable voting across, if you were in office?
Have I voted for a Democrat before?
Voting across the line?
Yeah, why not? Listen, see, for me, again, and this is why some Republicans don't like me, and I don't care about parties. Parties don't. Now, listen, I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. I have conservative values. That's the ideals that I have, and that I am conservative. At the same time, that's not what defines me. So I care more about the people, the taxpayers, more than I care about a party. My job is to go up to Hartford, not to represent my party, but to represent the people. And there's going to be things that go on in Hartford that Republicans might not agree with, but you know what? I have to do what's best on behalf of the people I represent. And that happens to be Meriden, Cheshire, Middletown, Middlefield. So if it happens to be in your best interest, but not in the party's best interest, well, sometimes that's just going to have to, it's tough.
That's a big thing for me. Like, when I think about Republicans, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, and even me, just even people putting me in the box of being just a Democrat. It's about the issues.
Yeah.
It's about people are really hurting economically.
Yeah.
They're hurting. All they want to do is take care of their families. They just want to get up in the morning, go to work, come home, spend time. The average person want to spend time with their family, and they don't even have that time. On average, I work like 60 hours a week, okay? I just want to sometime, I mean, we went to the other day, we went for, what was it? To the haunted thing at Lake
Bounce? Yeah.
Yeah, we spent money that we didn't have, number one, and a lot of it. But just to see the smiles on my grandchildren's face, it was just like, oh my gosh. It just warmed my heart. And if I had a lot more money, we could have stayed longer. But families, we need to get back to families and knowing what families need and supporting families. All of this division and this and that, I'm not for it. I just want to be able to take care of my family. I want them to be happy. I want them to be healthy. I don't want them to be getting pulled over have to worry about, oh my God, he's going to get pulled over. Oh my goodness, he can't wear this. Oh my goodness. Oh. No, I want to just be treated like a person.
See, and again, if we have more time, it's already past 8 o'clock.
Oh my goodness, it went by so fast.
But now, again, I think one of the big things that sparked anger in me was when they went after our police department. Our city council went after our police department, and they went after it based on race. And they were basically saying that our police department was racist and we had a use of force problem. We were literally beating people. And there wasn't a single statistic that showed that. In fact, we only had 2 use of force complaints, both of them withdrawn because of body cameras. Mm-hmm. So, and it really irritated me because I believe they took a tragedy in the George Floyd incident. They took that tragedy and started this whole social justice campaign of misinformation and false information, and really used it to get their hands on our police department, which is why we talked about the CRB yesterday. It's just something that wasn't needed here in the city, but they're using it as a vehicle to handcuff our police department from doing their job. We look at the police accountability bill.
But you know what, Joe? I don't know. I think there just needs to be more training. I'm going to be honest with you.
For the police department, absolutely.
There needs to be more training because with mental illness being at an all-time high today, we have to maybe just, aside from just pulling out our piece real fast, let's just take a step back and just, maybe they need the right training.
Well,
maybe they need the right training.
Listen, and that gets into some touchy subject, and just for this reason, because how we say that police need training, the public needs training, because the public does, again, and I've been in these squad cars and I've talked to these officers. I've been through the ride-alongs and stuff, mm-hmm. and you see what they go through every day.
That's a tough job.
It is an impossible job under impossible circumstances, and a civilian would never be able to grasp without being through it the seconds they have to react to a situation. And I say this,
I can understand
our police department.
But when you have a situation where you are in control of the situation and you have that situation contained and controlled, at what point do we say, all right, we don't have to beat this person over the head 100 times. Like, come on, serious.
Yeah, like I said, they're perfect cops. There's always bad apples. Luckily, we don't have this problem here in Meriden.
I have to say,
and that's why when the city council went after them and literally said that the police were a leading cause of black death in America, which is a ridiculous statement all the way around because there's not one single piece of evidence that shows that. And again, if we had more time, they did it from a crazy study from the University of Michigan to get that point.
That's the first. I mean, okay, well, you know what? We got to have these conversations some more.
Right. So again, that really is what irritated me because I saw what their end game was. Their end game always has been to get their hands on our police department, to handcuff our police department, so they have complete control. And then that's where the CRB came from, which we could talk about on another time. So again, and our police
have to get off. I don't mean to stop you.
It's okay.
But what do the people who are listening to us, how do they feel about our conversation? Like we haven't. What are people saying on your screen there?
So
tell me some stuff. I mean, I want to know what the people, because see, it's all about the people, right?
Yep. So here's our comments here. And this gentleman right here is a former police officer here. So Ray, say hello, Ray. Ray is a former police officer. He's also a city councilor here in the city of Meriden. So it's someone you should meet. So Ray is a police officer. Here's a fellow Democrat with you. Hello, there you go. So,
I mean, do they like our conversation? Are we having?
Do you guys like our conversation? Are we
having a really decent conversation? Are we touching on any of your concerns and pain points?
She's a friggin' natural here.
Am I?
You are natural, and she was all nervous coming in here.
I was.
There's nothing to be nervous about. It's just like our conversation. It's just an extended.
You say don't be nervous.
It's
You're
just
wearing that red T-shirt, but you're convincing me otherwise. You understand what I'm saying? But what are the people saying? What's going on here? What are they talking about?
The problem with Hartford, the problem with police comes from Hartford. Well, I'll agree with you with police accountability bill. Do you feel vaccines should be mandated? Mike, very good conversation.
That's another conversation. How about we have that? That's another conversation because I can weigh in all day with that one.
What, the
vaccine?
Now, are you in the medical field also or no?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Obviously, your daughter is. I didn't get her stance on vaccines. If we're trying to take care of public safety, we talk about public safety. Yeah.
If a vaccine is going to help from that standpoint, maybe that's what we need. But I don't feel we need a pill for everything. I don't think we need a pill for everything.
Well, I could go back to you feel like you should have a choice.
I want a choice.
So abortion choice vaccines, no?
Which one are we talking about?
Well, either one. Are they inclusive there?
I think we just need to have a choice.
So if people don't want to have it?
But if for public safety...
Should they be fired for not having a vaccine?
Is that going to cause... If them being there going to be a public safety...
Listen, the nurses worked through your daughter worked no matter what in the hospital. She didn't have a vaccine. Do you think then now she should be fired for not having it? She's already immune to it.
We don't know that. We don't know what's going to happen. We really, honestly, we just rolled with it. Everybody just rolled with it and we did what we needed to because
we didn't have the science yet.
We didn't have the science.
But now we do.
We don't. We still don't have all the science. It's yet to come. Oh yeah, it's yet to come. But what I'm saying to you, we need to be when there's an emergency like that. It may be a need for it. And then again, we don't need a pill all the time. Like I don't need a pill to go to the grocery store.
So was that a yes or no on vaccine mandate?
It all depends on
I'm against the government mandating anything. I shouldn't be mandated. Again, one of Barack Obama's issues when he went with the mandate for health insurance. We live in America. You're free to do what you want. Now, you're also responsible for the choices you make. Mm-hmm. If you didn't have health care and you decided you didn't want it, that's on you if you go bankrupt on it. That's an opinion of mine. If, again, whether we're talking about, anything, if you choose not to do something, then you have to take the consequences that come along with that. And I think the vaccine, again, nurses, teachers, police officers, were doing their jobs through the whole COVID, during the worst of it. And now all of a sudden they're all being fired.
So, I mean, even if you take a step back and not talk about vaccines, because I think that's a choice, right? That's a personal choice if you want to have it.
But it's not right now because, again, you're being fired if you look at nurses.
People didn't even want to do things so simple as wear a mask.
Right. Like, I'm not an anti-mask guy, and you wear it where it makes sense. But you have people wearing them out in public.
You see me, if you were to see me in a grocery store, I have my mask on.
Yeah. Even today?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
This is flu season.
Okay.
I mean, it is. I don't want you coughing all over me. Keep your germs to yourself and wipe your nose.
Yeah, I just don't believe that, again, they worked through all this stuff, and now all of a sudden they're getting fired for not having a vaccine. It's just ridiculous. Either they were good enough to do it before without it.
But we had a public safety situation. Now things have since calmed down.
So again, is it even less of a concern now for them not to have the vaccine compared to back then? If they're still wearing their mask, which they wore the entire time, would you? So again, if your daughter was going to be fired for not having a vaccine because that's her choice.
But you know what? She's working. If she's going to be around people, other sick people whose immune systems are being compromised.
But she was around them for the last 2 years without a vaccine.
Saying, you asked if, you're saying, like, say if you worked in the health field, if it meant her having that vaccine was going to keep that person that's sick in the hospital safe, that's what's...
But we don't even know that's the case. Like you said, the science not there. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, what's the difference between then and now? It was worse back then. They were more at risk back then. They're not at as much risk now. To me, if it was okay 2 years ago, it's okay now, and you should be firing these nurses, teachers, and
I don't think they are.
Oh, yes, they are.
Well, we got to have more conversation. But I know we're up on time. But you know what? I would like to know more what the people are saying.
Well, I tell you what. After the show, you could go through the entire comment list, and
then
when you
go, make up something, come up with something, and have another powwow, and
absolutely,
and go for. You could save all of the comments and
all this stuff is saved. It's all online. You could go back home later on and you could watch the whole show again and you could see all the
but listen,
the things.
I just want you all that's listening to know I am not the subject matter expert for anything. We're just having plain just conversation. And I am just a parent who love her family, her children, her grandchildren, and want to see them do well. And I'm not here to offend anyone, and I just want you to know that. So it's all just conversation. Like
so she's basically saying, don't be a snowflake. She didn't mean to offend you. So let me just kind of I'll do the straight talk of it. She's doing what she's not allowed to do. She's spinning. So she is trying to be the polite person. She's trying to be She's saying stop, don't be a snowflake. I'm not here to offend you. I'm just stating my opinion.
I'm just stating my opinion, and I don't speak for the entire African American community, but I am African American, so I kind of do know some of the things that they experience. I'm just saying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. So we need to have more conversation, and it's got to be a beginning.
Like the great Rush Limbaugh always said, the learning never stops. We always have to keep learning, and the only way we learn is by having conversation and have an understanding of what each other are thinking.
And we have to have more people call in.
I know. See?
Call in.
Come on, guys.
And join the conversation. I feel like we're just having this conversation.
Yeah.
And we had a really excellent conversation. And I think people should call in. It's just that I don't need you all in my face, pointing in my face, doing all of this. Because then we got a problem. See, we keep our 4-foot buffer zone here. We keep our 4-foot buffer zone. So we don't have crosstalk here on our microphones. Wanting to beat me over
but You know, next time she'll have her own separate account. I'm going to throw her on the other side next time.
But no, this has been fun. I was nervous. I have to admit, I was nervous.
It's hot in here now.
It is, but it's the light.
I know, it's the lights.
The lighting. But at the same time,
Oh, you're a Red Sox or Yankee fan?
you know,
Though you might want to think twice before you answer that. You're from New York, though. Forget it. I don't even want to talk to her now. All right, no. Unless you turn around and says that she's a Mets fan.
Those were the days. The Mets were they were.
Oh my God!
goodness.
I'd rather you just sit there and say I'm a Yankee fan.
But I'm just saying those were the days. But they're Yankees. Okay.
Oh, here's an interesting question. What would you like to see changed in Meriden if you could pick one thing?
In Meriden,
You
the
could do.
educational system. I think we talked about that. I would like to see the curriculum be a little more inclusive of in history. What African Americans have contributed to the society.
Well, that is coming. They do have a state mandated curriculum for Black and Latina studies, which again I think is great because I think when you bring in all these different sides, you're a more well-rounded individual when you're learning about everything.
Absolutely.
And the pluses and minuses of everything. The problem I have is when you try to whitewash your past and you don't want to learn from it. And you just want to try to make it all go away. I think that's a horrible idea.
No, we should. And I would like to see the little kids
enjoy the dialogue.
Speaking,
it's a start.
The little children start to speak
second languages.
second language. Meriden, I don't know. The demographics has changed significantly here.
Oh, in the last 5 years,
Yeah.
the Hispanic population has exploded here.
I want to see.
Yeah.
The little kids should be.
Now you did 6 years of Spanish, right?
I did 6 years of Spanish. Yes, I did.
You're pretty well versed.
You know what? How do you say if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yeah.
But now here I am. I need to use it. So it's like I do know I can have some broken conversation.
Yeah.
It won't be fluent,
Right.
But it'll be broken. You'll get the gist of what I'm saying.
The new Howard Stern show. That's how they're. Are you saying she's Robin? She's like the logical one here, and I'm the crazy lunatic. Is that what you're saying there, Sean?
What did he say?
The new Howard Stern show.
He said, "Who's that?" This is the Joe and Annette show.
Yeah, the Joe and Annette show. So basically, he's called Howard Stern, right? And Robin is his little sidekick.
Oh my gosh! Let me tell. You know what? Oh yes, I do know them.
Okay.
So that's what we are.
So I guess you're Robin. You're the calm, logical one, and I'm just a crazy host that's lunatic. No, and that's probably not too far off from what we got here.
I love it.
We
can do this again.
We can do this again. We can do this as much as you
We
want.
should have some hosts. Some people come by. People call
We
in.
could do a live one somewhere else.
Judging up your
We could do a remote one. We could do one somewhere else. All this stuff we could travel. I've done shows remotely.
Well, can't we do? We're getting there. Let's take the baby steps, right? Let's take the baby steps. Let's get there, and we'll get there. That's all.
I'm already there, baby. I'm already there.
Oh gosh.
We could do anything here.
Yeah, we'll take the baby steps.
Now, normally I would have set up the other cameras and everything else so we could, but
we're getting there. I love the conversation. I really do, and I thank you. I want to thank you for inviting me to come and speak my mind.
Listen, after our conversation yesterday, I don't know how I could not invite you over to sit there and do this.
Ooh-wee. And you know what? I'm going to go back and have more conversation with friends and family, and maybe people will start listening to our show.
I hope so.
Did I say our show?
Look at that. She's already taking it over. Wow. Wow. I give her a nice look. I give her a nice cozy chair. Now she wants the big man's chair. She wants the big comfy chair. Wow. Look at that.
It's all fun. It's all good. I just hope that we've changed some minds and hearts here.
Yeah, at least getting them starting to think
about it.
On these different situations. Again, now you got me. I just want to make sure that I like her. She's a lady with dignity.
Really? I'm seeing the comments. Oh, come in. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Don't give her a big head, guys. It's the first time.
This is the first time. This is the first, and we're going to have some painful conversation too.
We are.
probably.
We are.
And it's not going to be good.
That's okay.
You know, I can get a little emotional sometimes.
First of all, you're never going to offend me. Listen, I've been called everything.
Well, I would never want an infant.
No, listen, no one's going to ever intentionally try to do it, but listen, I've been called everything under the sun. I got really thick skin. And listen, if we're going to have conversation, we're going to have conversation. We're going to have straight talk, which is why it's straight talk.
Straight talk. I love it.
So, yeah, never, ever, ever worry about offending me. And again, if there's snowflakes that are watching, tough crap for them.
You know what, Joe? This is just the first one of many, right?
Yes, it is.
I would love to come back and have a good time with you all. I just want to say good luck to all of the candidates out there on either side. I haven't made up my mind yet, what I'm doing yet, but I will be, voting. But
everyone should be voting.
I want to encourage people to vote and try to get more of our young people to vote as well. But good luck to everyone. And let's just start having this conversation. Maybe they'll start talking about the Joe and Annette show a little more.
Oh, they already got it. They already put it out there. So she's a natural. Yes, she is a natural. She's already coming after my big chair. I'm gonna have to get another big chair. Oh my God! I'm gonna have to build out the studio.
Well, hey, Joe. But Joe, are we over time?
We're never over time.
Really?
We're never over time.
Well, we don't want to put people. I do have my shows to watch tonight.
Do you? What are you watching?
Okay.
What's on the docket for Annette on the when you get home?
I have my raunchy shows that I watch.
Oh boy, here we go.
No.
What, Housewives? It is Housewives of Atlanta.
I watch all the Housewives.
Oh my God!
I just love to see how people goof off with their money. I love it. I just love it.
What am I going to do with you?
I just love it. And I love. There's a lot of shows that's out.
90 Day Fiance. Oh my God.
Oh, that's another good
one.
Yes.
The dumbing down of America. Is this what we've come to?
I'd rather us watch it on the big screen than have to keep dealing with all these issues.
How big? Because as you walked in, it was 110.
Wow, that's big.
How big are we talking?
I'm just saying so I can see it.
55,
no, it's just
85. How big are you watching this? Like me, I need to watch football, and I need the players to be the size that they normally are. I want to see it.
But Joe, you need to go to the stadium then.
I don't like crowds. I think what most people don't realize, I don't like people.
You don't like people?
No, I'm not a very people person.
You are now.
I'm not one to you won't find me at like parties or stuff like that.
We're gonna have to bring you out.
I'm just not
of your shell, huh?
I'm just not that kind of people person.
All right, okay.
I do this because I think this is important stuff.
We talked about political things. What's your favorite? Let's get a little personal.
Oh, boy.
Let's do a 2-minute personal thing.
Okay.
Your favorite song?
My favorite song?
Or song? What do you like? What Or music?
I'm a big rap fan. I'm like gangster rap.
Gangster? Ooh.
Like Dr. Dre, Eminem, I can sit there and listen to it all day long.
Ooh.
All day long.
You know what? There's a time and place for everything, right?
I
like it too.
My Pandora, for some reason, my Pandora is trying to get me into country.
I love to sing.
You're a singer, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I love singing. I'm like let's do karaoke. We could do karaoke.
No, you don't want to hear me sing.
Oh, my God.
You do not want to hear me
sing.
Oh, my God.
I love gospel.
I like gospel music.
I love gospel. And I love all types of music. I have to say. I'm not like, I'm pretty open.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I already know you watch Housewives, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. I don't watch TV, though.
How about, what's the other one? They have a new one. They have a couple of new shows out. But
I'm a big 30 Rock fan. I don't know if you ever saw it.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin and Tina Fey. It's my favorite show. 30 Rock. Yeah.
30 Rock?
So other than that, but again, I don't watch TV between work and stuff. I just don't have time. But
so in your spare time, what do you do? Like, what do you
spare time? What is that? I sit here and have conversations with people like you.
What do you do with the family?
Oh, so we do all sorts of things.
Like what?
Like normal things. Like, go places and
Out to
go
eat.
check things out. Yeah.
I would like to do that if we had more money, and if I had more money in my pocket.
Well, I don't know. The way you got here, I think you're going to be a hit on the thing. You're going to have your own show pretty soon.
You're funny. You're real funny.
You're gonna be stealing my show. You're gonna steal all my. You're gonna steal all my listeners, and I'm gonna be like, what the hell? Damn it, Net. I created a monster.
No, this is.
We're an hour and a half in. Let's go through this. An hour and a half. You've already taken my show. We already have a spinoff of the show. We already have all sorts of different things. She's inviting herself back already. I love it.
Did I?
I love it. I am a fair junkie. I do love the fairs.
You like the fair?
Like the Big E?
Oh yeah.
I'm there like 3 times.
Really?
At least, minimum.
I like to go there to eat. I'm a foodie. I can cook. I like to say
What are you cooking?
Cook. I cook anything. I like to recreate things. I can watch the Food Network all.
Now, I will say, I do like straight talk with the net. I'll beat these people.
What are they saying?
Straight talk with the net instead of Joe. They're getting rid of me. They're booting me already.
This is funny.
They're booting me already. I love food. I'm always hungry.
Me too.
Like right now, I'm hungry.
You're hungry?
Yes.
You should have told me. I would have brought you over a plate. I didn't cook tonight because I knew I was coming over. But I love to just get in the kitchen. I have my next project. Yeah. I went and bought me a sifter. And my plan is I made beef patties once. And they came out really, really good. The family raved about them. And my pot pies, my little personal pot pies.
You make pot pies?
Oh, yeah. But I don't have time.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to get back into it. I'm going to try to get back into it.
I better, next time you hear, there needs to be a pot pie in your hand.
Yeah, I'm going to.
And then I'm going to let you open the show while I eat my pot pie.
Really?
Yes.
I love different types of.
God is using you to take a net to her next. Oh, wow.
Next what?
Your next career. She said they're basically saying that you're a natural here and you're pretty awesome.
Really?
But see, I already knew that, which is why you're here.
Oh wow.
See, I haven't.
Well, Joe, we gotta get you a little more open.
A little more open? What do you mean?
You like to have a good time?
Who doesn't want to have a good time?
Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I just do what it is with me. It's just,
you said you don't like people.
I like certain people.
Certain people?
Like people I grew up with, I'll go hang out with. See, but like me, I'm not like one to go to like a big party, so I gotta be dragged there. Like if friends are going, okay, they could drag me along. Like Elaine's on here somewhere. My BFF's on here, so there she is. She'll drag me to things.
She'll drag you to things?
Yes.
See, me, I like to try different things. I like to just go in and just jump in it.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? And see what happens.
Oh, like tonight.
Like tonight. That I said I said to myself, I'm not going to wait till New Year's to make a resolution. I'm going to start doing it now. I'm going to start doing things I've never did before.
And this is the first?
And I can't say this is the first.
You've done a podcast before?
Well, no, this is the first podcast
okay.
I've done. But I'm just saying I want to start getting out of my comfort zone. You know what I mean?
We're going to go skydiving? Is that what you're saying next?
That's what I want to do.
Are we going?
I'll probably be screaming all the way.
We're going to have to record it live all the way down.
You know, when we went to the lake compounds.
Yeah.
I got on that swing. I tell you, when I got off, I was dizzy.
Oh, that sky thing? The thing that just kind of whips you?
No, I don't think.
Oh, you're talking about this?
The baby swing thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't do that. I'll be throwing up.
I mean, I was like, by the time, I only got on it because they was like, come on, Grandma, get on with us.
I can dance. I
can dance.
got a couple moves.
You got a couple of moves?
Maybe a couple.
Really? If you're listening to gangster rap, you better have some moves. I'm telling you.
I do a lot. I'm a chair dancer.
Would you be chair dancer?
I'm a chair dancer.
We're going to have to change that.
But, guys, this was awesome. Guys, remember, we're one full day away from election time. Mm-hmm. Not to try to get things back to a little more serious.
Okay.
But we're one day away from really deciding which way we want to go. So, yes, I am a big C dancer. She just confirmed it. So we didn't even get to any of this that we were going to talk about.
Are you serious?
We really did. We didn't get to tolls. We didn't get to diversity, PLAs, closing argument. We didn't get to any of that.
Guess what? Security. Job security, right?
Yeah, but election day's in a day. We don't meet again until Thursday.
But we still have to tackle these issues.
We still do.
So it's not going to take a day to
That
get
is
it all
true.
done.
That is
So
true.
it's just one day at a time, I guess. This was an icebreaker.
This was the icebreaker?
This was an icebreaker.
This was me. This is your introduction to
What's to come?
these people.
You know, I don't know who you guys are out there, but I am loving it. I'm seeing all the happy faces.
They are from all over the state.
He's
so
tired.
yeah, so they're from all over the state. So and you got a wide mix.
Running
that. Say ha ha! Watch out! Watch out! There you go. Don't let these people get a hold of you. Don't let them get a hold of you.
Oh, he says, I love her.
Her way of reversing on you.
Ooh. We just got to start. We need a little more of this. We need a little more love and happiness. Love and happiness.
Now you guys know why she's here. Now you all know why she's here.
I just love people. I mean, good people. Just don't come at me. You know, we good.
I haven't come at you yet. Don't worry. I'm sure there'll be topics coming in the future that we're gonna probably go.
That's what makes it all that that great. You know, we can have it. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to want to tear the place down.
I agree, 110%.
Let's just get it done.
Let's get it done. Well, let's get it done on Tuesday, people, because it is election day. If you want to volunteer for the campaign, make sure you email us. We're We're a day away. We're a day away.
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote.
Whatever side you want.
Don't. Villano First State said it. Villano First State said it. One more time. Villano First State said it. And other than that, don't listen to what she has to say.
I say vote for whoever you want to vote for.
As long as it's Joe Villano First State said it.
Joe's a good guy. I mean, from what I can see, I haven't seen it. I mean, unless somebody proves me wrong, you know.
Don't worry. Don't worry. If you listen to the Democrats, like in the Democrat talking, like those people who are in politics,
probably laughing their heads right now.
They're telling you that I am the worst people. I am the Antichrist. I'm public enemy number one on Democrats list.
Ooh,
yeah.
Not listening to Dr. Ray, right?
Democrats will get their hands on you. They'll be like, he is the devil. Yeah. That's how they look at me. I don't know why. I agree with it. Listen, I hold them accountable for what they do and say. Mm-hmm. But I hold that. Listen, there are Republicans that think I'm the devil. So, because
put your plug in. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I've gone after Republicans before on this show viciously for things they've done.
Let's just bring it all back to the people. Let's make it
That's
all
it.
about people.
That's it. That's why we want charter reform next year. We haven't gotten into that.
No.
So we want charter reform. So we want to bring back a strong mayor so we can make changes quicker. We want to make sure we hold people accountable. Mm-hmm. It's all these great things we want to do that we're going to talk about in the future.
And Joe, whatever way it goes, we still got the show.
We do.
How about that?
Always. We still got each other.
I said we.
I know you did. It's all right. It's all right.
No, it's been a pleasure. I enjoyed it. You guys
Get used to this. Get used to seeing her here.
I enjoyed the conversation. I want to hear more from the people.
So basically, what you say is, guys, get off your asses and start friggin' calling in.
Call in, chat with us, be nice, and let's have some good conversation.
Be nice.
Yeah, let's have some good conversation.
She hasn't watched previous shows yet.
Huh?
She hasn't watched any previous shows yet.
Your shows?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. That's the good thing. That's the good thing about it. I don't even know what I'm walking into.
I know. I know. Do I know?
But no, it's all good. Let's see what happens. But he says Democrat what?
I'm a Democrat. Have her call me. So, guys, as I said, Tuesday is Election Day. Get out there and vote. Annette, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It is an absolute pleasure. Again, this feels like we never left yesterday with our conversation.
Not at all.
We picked right up where we left off. I'm going to have to make this place a little bit bigger because I don't think I'm going to be able to fit her head in here next time.
Oh, my gosh. But, I'm a woman of a certain age. I need some air.
I'm going to put the air. I know. I don't know why the air hasn't kicked on here. I'm sweating.
I get hot. Like, really? Seriously.
I'm sweating. And do you know what I forgot? The water. Because normally I have like 1,000.
Water.
Actually, strong mayor is the most corrupt. Oh, we'll agree to disagree. Mr. Dan Brunet, he is another city councilor here in the city of Meriden.
Gosh.
And he is not for a strong mayor, even though we all are. But okay, see, so even
look at the comments. They look like they're great. I mean,
get her a fan or an AC. There's a vent right there that's just not on right now for some reason. Do you know what it is? I didn't want her to get too comfortable down here. I didn't want to get too comfortable right away.
No, we're off to a great start here.
We are. I'll make sure I have the air conditioner on for you next time, though.
Okay.
But see, even Republicans disagree. Is that I'd rather strong mayor, council. Again, we it's okay to disagree. It's what's great about it is that even both sides, even the same side disagrees.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, let's just and save those topics for us to discuss.
Yeah, well, listen, I have all this stuff saved, so we can talk about all this stuff anytime. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can do it again.
Yeah, we will do it again.
Do you guys want me back?
Do you guys want me back? Wait a minute, they've been sitting there just praising you the whole time.
Back. I just want to know.
God, they like you better than me. I mean, that's not too. I can get that. I can understand that. I'm an acquired taste.
You're acquired taste?
Yeah.
I thought I was an acquired taste.
No, I am.
I think, Joe, we got something going here.
I think so.
It says, what it says there?
Have a great night, Annette. Rocked. Be kind to everyone in Volano.
Thank you, everyone.
So, guys, wow. 8:45.
Oh, my goodness, my show.
You DVR'd it.
I don't have DVR. I can't afford it.
Oh, my God.
I got they'll replay it again. I'll be up all
How do you
night.
not have DVR?
It's a long story. I just said I can't afford it, but you really don't believe me, don't you?
Doesn't it come like basic now?
No, not if you want. I have like two. I have the regular channels, and then I have HBO and Stars.
I'll send you over to Hulu. You can watch it there.
Hulu.
Hulu's the greatest thing ever. As anything, I'm gonna have to open her mind too.
I know about Hulu and stuff like that, but it's just,
live TV. Yeah, I'm sure it's cheaper than what you're paying for now.
It probably is, but I want to be in the moment. I want to be able to click my TV on and watch what I want to watch.
You could do that on Hulu. It's live TV, local channels and all.
Really? Well, you're gonna have to really tell me a little more about that.
We will, guys. Until next time, I love each and every one of you, and even if we don't agree, and that I love this,
and I love it too, and I want to come back now that I'm all.
That you're all set up for. You're like the nerves are gone,
yeah,
and you're a little more comfortable. She's going to open up a little bit more to us next time, and I don't know if I'm going to like that.
Dan, Joe, I know the music. Can we start off with a little something that's a little more?
Are you trying to change my freaking opening music too now? What the hell is going on here? What is going on here?
I'm just saying.
We can talk about this offline. You're gonna, why just do you want to change the whole format? We can change the whole format.
No, I'm just saying.
Would you like to say goodbye to people?
Good night, everyone, and don't forget to go out and vote.
For state senate?
I will be back as long as Joe will have me back.
Well, I have to now because everyone's going to be blowing it up, being like, "Where's the net? Where's the net?"
Yeah, we'll have some special guests. Every now and then we'll have special guests. You hear me? I'm talking to.
Look, she is literally changing the friggin' format. She is literally changing the format of the entire show. Look what we have created. It is a hostile takeover. It's exactly what this is.
But no, we have to bring it down to the people's
Absolutely crazy. Start off with some Dr. Dre and cheer dancing.
Well, let's don't go that hard.
Guys, I love you.
What about Mary?
I love you. Thank you for coming. This was awesome. Guys, until next time, we'll see you Thursday. And Thursday, it's going to be...
What's Thursday?
Thursday is the next show.
Oh, okay.
So Thursday, hopefully we're coming back to here saying it's Senator-elect Joe Villano.
Oh, my goodness.
That would be nice.
Joe.
Senator-elect.
Yeah.
And then we're really going on the road.
And you're going to have... No, you're going on the road. And you're going to have to put a plug in if for the people's, like, really hard.
Listen, that's what we're all about.
Okay.
That's what we're all about.
Like, seriously.
We're literally going to bring the voice to the people. And we're going to take this show to the people. And we're going to make sure that, again, this is what I love about the show is that they have easy access to us. This is what I say, what I always say during the campaign, I'm the most accessible candidate ever, because you can literally come here twice a week and say whatever you want and ask anything you want. Okay. And I think there's not a single politician, I believe, out there that is doing this.
Well, we sure. I see all of the laughs and all the stuff going.
Yeah, they love it.
This is a great start. Let's just start. Let's just leave it like that.
So we're going to remember November 6th. Yes, the day that the hostile takeover started, and I was booted out of my own show. I get it. Guys, until next time, I thank you all for being here.
Good night, everyone.
She thanks you all for being here. And until next time, guys, God bless you, and obviously God bless this amazing country of ours. I love you guys, and I will talk to you all Thursday.
Won't surrender faith, this I can fire that never burns to embers. The voice of the unheard. Love is the answer.
I gotta speak it, believe it, that's how I feel inside.
I can't sit here quiet.
You can take my heart, you can take my breath. When you pry it from the cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Sleeping in the shadows could be making history. Through the fire, on the water, used to be a slave, but now you are